the square one into the round peg. You have to be different to be able to go through this maniacal prejudice that exists in the Indian system today. Nonetheless, so I'm here along with Amaresh, who has been my partner, literally and figuratively, over the last 1 year as we launched this new Center for Advanced Analytics. So what we are here is really the later part. We want to open up the floor for questions because there have been a number of discussions.
20 minutes.
20 minutes. So the genesis of this, if I may, it started when I was invited by Dr. Sarangi to receive the Distinguished Alumnus Award. I sat in Dr. Sarangi's office that day, and when I looked at the campus, I said, I need to do something. It was just a desire. So I wrote there and wrote the vision of this particular thing. What will it do in the next 2 years? Then I gave it back to Dr. Sarangi and said, this has to happen. I don't care how this will, but we will make it happen. So the vision was this. Number one, I think we both come from the field of analytics, which is really the convergence of computer science, advanced mathematics, and the deep industry problems, whether it is healthcare, banking, that's the place where we spend most of the time today. So I said, these three are converging, and there's a tremendous paucity of trained resources and research work in this area. And that was my dual imperative to start this course. So when I wrote this and said, first we have to train the people in advanced mathematics and analytical techniques. And two, we need to bring a lot of industry focus into this thinking. They're just not going to be tool specialists, but they will actually start thinking in the industry problems. What are the problems in banking, healthcare, etc., etc. So I wrote it and said, let us do MTech, because apparently it is much easier to start the MTech course than it is the undergraduate course. And then what I also wrote is that two additional things which came deep. I grew up in, for those of you who don't know me, Venkat, Peri, 91 MCA. Grew up in Jaipur, Koraput, a small town miles away from civilization, I call it. The apathy of government is so visible. In fact, when I went recently, it was so bad that I actually stood in the room and cried. It is so bad that we leave the towns. And that day I went and adopted the town. They're building the hospital there right now and building a number of schools with friends together. So that's a separate story, not to digress. But then I said, whatever we do, the research has to help the local people. I'm not going to do research about the bank in America, which we will do, but the research also has to touch the local people in the state. And so that was the vision, simple 3-4 ideas. And so we wrote it and said we will actually go out and even the class composition that I did was, we will not just get engineers into the stream. Out of the 20 people class, we will get about 10 to 12 engineers, a couple of economists, a couple of mathematics and statisticians, and a couple of doctors as well. I basically said to Dr. Sarangi that we will probably be the first institute, and hopefully not the last, that we will have 2 doctors graduating with an MTech degree in advanced analytics because they come from healthcare background. So this was the genesis. Dr. Sarangi should appreciate what he did for us. I gave it to one of the professors, nothing moved for the first 6 months. Then I went back to the campus and said, if you guys don't want to do it, I will do it myself. I will go. You had enough connections in the system. I said, I will do it myself. I don't care. So that when I actually asked it for the professor and said, Dr. Maji, who is 2 years senior to me or 3 years senior to me, I said, please nominate him because I can influence him. I don't want a senior professor who will say, they will give you 1,000 reasons why it cannot be done. So I know, I say it will give 1,000 excuses why it cannot be done. I told, give me one reason. We are doing it ourselves. I said, I'm pledging $100,000 to this personal fund. I created a small trust in my parents' name. So I said, I'll pledge 100,000 personal money to develop this center. Even then it didn't move. But then we wrote the vision. I went to Dr. Maji and said, will you lead this initiative in my absence? Because I cannot be in Rourkela every day. If you don't want to do it, I'll go to some other college. I teach at ISB. They're ready to take it. I go to IIM Bangalore. They're ready to take it. They're ready to take the funds and start it tomorrow morning. No, Dr. Sarangi said, give me 3 months of time. Then I reached out. So the genesis of the program is that we wanted to create a capability in NIT Rourkela that would do the following. Number one, create academic excellence. Impart the skills that are relevant in the world today and world tomorrow. Number one. Two, it will take up research. It's not just about generating 25 people and placing them. It will also take up research work, especially in the areas of healthcare and transportation systems. And we will touch the people, and I'll come to that in a moment. And the third point I said is, our value has to be visible in the society today. It's not for somebody else. And we need a partner, and that's when I called in Amaresh. He's a fellow partner and work in the similar area. I said we need somebody, some other institute who can come and help us, because 95% of the advanced courses cannot be taught by the professors at NITROAA. We're talking about neural networks and machine learning and natural language processing. They cannot be taught. We need people from outside who can do now. Why will somebody come and help NITROAA? Thanks to Amaresh, he teaches at UNCC, which is one of the most advanced programs. He said, let's figure it out. So we started talking to them, and as Dr. Mirsad put it, two guys come to me and say, in 6 months you want to accomplish all of this. He said, kidding me? Yeah, right, 6 months is what you will need. Finally, we actually started the center. The first batch of students are already on board at 8 people. We just looked at 8 people this year. We wanted to start slow. And they're already on board. And the arrangement that we have done with University of North Carolina at Charlotte is to, number one, the students will complete the initial preliminary courses in Tripathy first semester, and they will actually move en masse to UNCC to study the advanced courses, number one. Two, the credits are accepted, that we have finally been able to accomplish. Two, they'll do the advanced courses here, 2 semesters. And then there are 2 options. If they want to go to the degree advanced certificate course, then they don't have to take GRE and all. But if they want to go to the full dual degree course, even that option is made open for us. They can actually take dual degree. They will get 2 degrees, one from NITROAA and one from UNCC as well. And they will actually pursue this. We also said the last semester will be exclusively for doing extra project work in the industry. And Amaresh will come and ask all of you for help. We will actually place them in for 6 months full industry exposure in a particular industry. We had that concept in MCA when we studied. We actually had to go out and do the 6 months project, which probably was the single biggest differentiator for us as we moved along in life. So that help is needed, even they're working on the visa, logistics, etc. The last one, cross-faculty training. I don't want our faculty to stay like that forever. So they have to be brought to UNCC and be told that this is how people teach. Whether it is good or bad, just get, pollinated with the teaching style of America as well, about the advanced courses. So to do that, we actually have orchestrated a cross-faculty training program. In fact, what I told as a part of the last launch, and we launched on August 28th, is that this is not about computer science at all. And the civil engineering professor who will come and teach a transportation course, I nominated and said we will give him $5,000, just reward, to come and teach. Somebody from biomedical engineering will come and teach a course on healthcare, we will give them another $5,000 for the course. So we are trying to cross-pollinate the talent among the departments, that's true. And for the faculty training, the faculty will come here and get trained in North Carolina, that's one. Two, how do you take faculty from US training? We don't pay that much. So then Dr. Mirsad, who is the head of the Complex Systems Institute at UNCC, told, give us the research. That's when we reached out to the government of Odisha, Mr. Naveen Patnaik. We met him, Amaresh, the entire team of NITROAA, and we met him, along with UNCC visitors. What we have submitted to them is that we will now need the hospital data from Odisha hospitals. Because understanding the evolving patterns of healthcare in the developing world is a big thing for America. Right? So we are now, fortunately, that meeting that lady, she was a topper of IAS in India, Dr. Rupa Mishra, she's not a doctor, but Rupa Mishra. She said, I'm willing to share all the data, okay, which is a gold mine for us, if you ask me. So that data will be with us right now. So what Amaresh is sponsoring with the $50,000 of his personal money, the Center for Healthcare Informatics, as a part of this program. So we will now get the data from Odisha government. All the hospitals, every mother, every child born, we will know. I can actually start tracking the behavior of the child. Whether he got the right vaccination at the right time. I can proactively reach out to the poor farmer in Baripada and say, your son or daughter needs vaccination tomorrow morning. Or more importantly, I can even send the healthcare professional to the home and say, administer the vaccination. You are touching the people here, right? So that's what we have tried to do. So that partnership will be signed, MOU will be signed with the government of Odisha to share the data with us for the Center for Healthcare Informatics going forward. So hopefully by December, hopefully when I come and talk to you next year, the report will be a lot better, that we've actually started reaching out to the common man on the street to really help him or her, especially the persons who cannot afford these advanced healthcare options, to be able to enjoy and to be told that, this is what will happen to your family if you don't do these things. And we are touching at that level. That's the intent. So what worked for us, before I hand over it to Amaresh, I was relentless. I mean, the fact that I was based in India helped. I made 5 trips to Rourkela. Okay, I actually, it's very difficult to go. If one thing to be solved is if you can get a plane service to Rourkela, it's a nightmare. I mean, I'm sitting in, this guy is driving through these villages at 100 kilometers and I don't know who he will hit. So, anyway. So that was the biggest challenge for us. Really, it takes away almost 3 days of your time. And not that we are falsely arrogant, but it's a lot of time. 3 days taking from week and going to Rourkela is a nightmare, but still I went 5 times. I said, I need it. That's only way we work. But Dr. Sarangi, with all due respect, has been a great, great anchor to make this happen. And he just, of course, a couple of connections, but I didn't have to really call connections. MOU was signed. He just signed the MOU and said, you just go do it. Don't worry about it. So the the center is open. Formally, it is part of NIT Rourkela as of now. We have started the 8th batch program that will graduate eventually in 2017. They will come here to US January 1, all of them, to study at North Carolina, Charlotte. So all of you are custodians of that. All the people living in Charlotte, I spoke to Susil, Amaresh, everyone. And most importantly, we are asking all of you to help us. And that help is what Amaresh will tell. So with that note, and I'm open for any questions.
What is the healthcare informatics center? Is that in
that will be a joint venture between the Rourkela State of Orissa.
Where is it going to be based?
In
Rourkela campus.
So all the centers are based in
Yes, in Rourkela.
not in North Carolina.
Not in North Carolina.
See, the whole idea is that we want the organic growth to happen in Rourkela. The moment you move to North Carolina, everybody wants to come here, and you have the classes that will be left as it is. So we wanted to take the professors from UNCC, put them in Rourkela for 6 months. The only way they will come, they said, is if you open as research. So you can't pay me money to teach. So give me the research opportunity, and I will send my faculty members to teach it in Rourkela.
Yeah.
So that's what it was.
So,
Amaresh, please.
yeah, just
He has been an absolute. We worked together. He's been my rock. I mean, he just helped me with the UNCC thing, without which this entire hypothesis or proposition would have just collapsed.
Yeah, I mean, he's giving me more credit. It's all about bringing people and ideas together. Just 2 or 3 things. I mean, one, just some broader context, and I have some very specific help.
It's just coming. I'm connecting.
The context is, I mean, I've been fortunate to be in the right place at the right time many times in my career, but I've been doing this over the last 10 years. I've started a lot of businesses around analytics, and no one has figured out, even in the US. I'm been fortunate to work with many Northwestern, Berkeley, many UNC Charlotte, because I live in Charlotte, who are starting the data science program. So they're trying. So this is a new area where no one has really figured out. They're all kind of figuring it out. I mean, I think the oldest data science program even in the US is probably 4 to 5 years old. Now there is no program in India around this. So there are a lot of training programs.
Just to pat ourselves on the back. IIT Kharagpur, IIM Calcutta, and ISI together have started a program exactly like what we did.
Yeah.
So we have been a little bit of a trailblazers here.
So we are pioneers. So the one thing is, this is one of the first programs in India around data analytics. And to be honest, I mean, as I said, even UNC Charlotte is figuring it out. That's why I work there. I mean, that's why I helped them in the board to figure out how it works, just from an industry perspective. So one thing to be, why we should be proud about NIT Rourkela is it's a pioneering program around the world, more or less, but definitely in India. Second, I mean, I personally do a lot of work in healthcare analytics in the US, and fascinating work that you can do, again, touching patient people's life with data. And the fact that we are able to do something in India, in Orissa, and I was amazed by the amount of data that actually is there. I mean, normally the first thing you see is the data is not there in India, we can't do things. But the reality is there's a ton of data, and you should have heard, Misha talking about how excited she was about sharing the data and doing things. So that's why you can make things happen. So that's the second point. It's electronic. It's all
In
electronic.
fact, she said that the rural Orissa has better data than
Then
urban
because
Orissa.
so
Because of the hospital.
that was
I
shocking
don't
to
know.
me.
Yeah.
Because again, I mean, I didn't have that much perspective. I always know that there's always more data than people think, but I didn't realize how much data is there in Orissa. So hopefully we'll be able to make that thing work and get that started. But here are some very tactical, practical things that we need to deal with. And this is where I need help. This program has the potential to become one of the leading programs in India in data science. Because one, it was one of the first ones, great institute being offering it. And secondly, UNC, the fact that they will come and do a program, they will do a joint program, they could potentially get a joint master's, not a joint, a dual master's degree, get a visa to stay in the US for 29 months and kind of study here and go back, all kinds of things, all kinds of great things that have been structured, and we've been just fortunate that it worked out that way. The bank has also, I think, close to agreeing to sponsor, to come and pay for them to sponsor it. But we have to really take care of the first 2-3 batches before it goes into a self-sustaining mode. So 8 people are going to show up in Charlotte in January. We know the way, but we just met those 8 people.
Yeah.
We'll need 3 things from them. One is they will need internships and jobs. Definitely internships, and let them prove themselves out for jobs, but they'll need internships. Last year when I came here, someone challenged, I mean, I've been a little bit critic of the education in Rourkela, so a lot of people challenged that whether I try recruiting or not. So one thing is I took back as that feedback, and we have recruited 3 people from Rourkela. This year we are the highest paid employer in Rourkela, this campus, which we did on the 28th. So we recruited 2 people for PwC US, and we had recruited 1 in March. So now we'll probably do a couple of 2-3 more. But I need like really show of hands. And I know a lot of people here do recruit that talent.
And we won't leave you until you show up and come in.
Yeah. So I know Sachi raised the hand last year that he recruited that kind of a profile. But I need show of hands of who would at least try with their organizations to get these people recruited. I really need a show of hands of who are going to make honest attempts.
Because for us, since
Accenture, Infosys, E&Y, yes. Who else?
They
What's the cost?
So that you have to pay for it. Doesn't matter.
It's like
When it comes to you, what to raise? Palash is
When I write the check, I write the check.
Palash is raising 2 plus 2 4.
Corporation write the check. No, yeah, we can handle 10 people.
no, we just need 2-3 people.
2-3
I mean, let's just spread 2-3 people around. There are 8 people right now.
I mean, what kind of commitment am I getting?
I mean, they need like a 6-month kind of a
Practical training.
6-month practical training that could potentially lead to a job.
Who takes care of the cost? I mean, what kind of cost?
It's like as you would pay an intern here.
I think the way we should look at this, right? He's going to hire those guys, but when he gets a contract to feed them.
Right, this is double whammy.
This is an ecosystem.
No, Ravi, you are talking way too much jargon. Ecosystem, subcontracting and all. We want very simple idea. 8 people, 2 each, 4 volunteers.
Are you
Okay.
signing up
I
link?
want when he
So I'm asking the question.
Sure, just your question.
So what type of skill set you looked at before selecting these 8 people? Because
So
that's
these
important.
people are going to get trained in, think about like data science and data analytics, able to handle large amounts of data, SQL computing, some business context, statistical algorithms. It's applied in business context.
So did you have a formal selection process?
Yeah, they came through GATE. I mean, we didn't do any selection. The institute did some selection through
See,
GATE.
that's it.
It's a master's MTech program as in any other MTech program.
So they are master students.
They are master students. They all have undergrad in engineering, most of them.
They dictate the kind of things they need to do before they come here.
So that's my second ask. Okay. First, yes.
Is it data science, or is it specific to healthcare?
No. It is data science.
But then let me answer the question. The idea here is there are a few electives we put in. Of course, there is very tremendous focus on strengthening the core fundamentals, right, of data sciences, right, both with respect to the traditional data as well as advanced data techniques. However, We also introduced 2 or 3 electives, one including financial services, one on healthcare, where they can choose a specific industry and focus on the problem. In fact, I was requesting Mrs. Mishra, Dr. Mishra, saying that she should actually start helping us in talking about healthcare options to the students. What happens when a patient visits a doctor? So, second ask, why don't you
Yes,
ask?
One question.
Yes.
They will be on student visas and they will be working on OPTs?
Yes, that's
the whole idea.
Yeah, CPTs, which will lead to OPTs.
Well, they're cutting it down. It's not 29 months, it's 12 months now.
Yeah.
So that is a
But
disaster. That's not
they're
Well,
discussing.
Yeah, okay.
Within the limits, whatever we are given.
Yeah, we'll figure that out.
Yeah.
I did understand that visa part a little bit. So there'll be an F1 or what?
There will be an F1 in the beginning. Where we need the help for is the CPT for the 6 months practical curriculum when they are on F1. So kind of think of hiring an intern. It's a 6-month intern co-op that you're hiring for. That's the commitment.
So are they going to be just staying in this target area, or are they going to be open to anywhere?
They can move. Yeah, but for the CPT, they will be in the Charlotte area, but they can travel and move. I think it's flexible. They can potentially move. I have to get back on a specific
Yeah,
answer there.
CPT they can move anywhere.
Yeah, they can probably move anywhere.
We have
Yeah.
people from Chicago working in South Africa.
So what
Perfect.
we can do is, from a visa point of view, once the agreement is finalized,
Yes.
we are in the last stages of finalizing the agreement and signing the MOU with UNCC. So once that is finalized, we'll publish
Yes.
the names of the 8 people, the profiles to all of you, so that you can actually touch and feel the resumes and talk to them.
You had a question.
Yeah, my question was related to the curriculum.
Yes.
Because as I'm talking to you, your program, I know NC State started something similar,
Yes, they have this program.
and I know Elon University started something similar.
Mm-hmm.
And the way it works is they have a two semesters.
Mhm.
The first semester is purely just go back to your standard analytics,
Yes.
maybe just do this spreadsheet modeling or something. Your second semester is to apply like SAS.
Mm-hmm.
You guys plan to use some of that. To be truly hired as an intern, I think they're expected.
Yes. So that's exactly the course in North Carolina, which actually I helped design, is a very similar, very hands-on. So they would have
It's
skills.
very important that they have.
If the question is, if the question is they will have hands-on skills or not, but we should publish the resume and
Actually,
everything.
we'll publish the resume as well as the course curriculum, right?
Yes.
We have a full detailed course curriculum.
But really, what I really need is not like I'm going to hold you accountable, or at least try. And I don't know if someone is putting the things and names of the people, because I think we have to follow up and get that done.
So what's the time frame? When are you starting?
This they would need next summer. So we have some time. Okay. So that's ask number 1. Ask number 2, Palash, to your point, mentorship and where they should take that. I mean, there are many ways you can take this kind of your course into a different career options. We need 8 people to at least mentor those 8 people.
Exactly.
And it's like your idea that I just stole, which is, I mean, Venkat just had a great idea. It's like, why don't you have people mentoring other people? I mean, even if you can't solve it at scale, let's have 8 people who would solve these, like who will adopt these 8 people in
So,
some
for example, if I'm requesting Tripathy, right? I mean, if he can come out and even teach a certain set of financial modeling techniques to the students, both as a teacher and mentor. I mean, our biggest weakness, as we found last time when we interviewed, is the soft skills.
Yeah.
We don't communicate. We are more autocratic than British.
Yeah. You can hear the question.
So we need soft skills training as well.
These
Yes.
8 people, are they joining this program after their bachelor's?
Yes,
After
they have
Bachelor's in what?
engineering most of them right now.
some of them are chemical, some of them are electrical. One of them is, I think, is computer science.
Yeah.
Couple of them even worked with companies like Infosys for a couple of years on cloud.
You have a question? Okay. Last, and I know we are running short of time. I need your dollars. No, that's the, it's,
That's the easiest part.
well, it's
Oh,
the
is
easy
it?
part. If it's easy, here's the thing. I mean,
No, I'm encouraged. I mean, no sense of.
no,
The thing like complexity, the biggest thing is, right, I don't know exactly data science.
Yeah.
So not from financial, but we are starting in major thinking industry.
yes,
Where we're putting in Cassandra, NoSQL, calculus, and all these
right.
things. But we do not have the expertise to bring those technologies and create an ROI model
Uh-huh.
for my industry.
Right.
So we're looking at like the guys who can really visionary, who can make it happen. Now, if we have dollars,
Okay.
and the money is going to be wasted if you put it on the wrong. But the thing is, how do you get the right talent to make that successful, right?
Right.
It's very hard. It's very hard.
Absolutely.
And now to convince my management, these are the 8 guys who can make it happen, right? It's very hard for me.
No, but
Unless otherwise you guys are standing behind them.
yeah, listen, I mean, all of us have to stand behind them. That's the reality.
So I think
The-
the way, I think what Amaresh is asking is not like, hey, I'm vouching for these, take them, but hey, we have these guys, we're trying to set up something, can we come together as a community to make them successful?
Yeah,
So
that's
what-
exactly right.
The last dollar.
But the dollars, I need personal dollars.
Personal dollars. Because
Yeah. And the reality is, we are, as Dr. Mahapatra said, we are the privileged ones. Whether we realize it or not, we are the privileged ones. If we don't contribute and if we don't make this institute successful, no one else is going to be. I mean, our alumni association just shared a statistic with me. In India, they have raised 1 crore rupees last year among the alumni. I don't think the US alumni who have a 50-to-1 advantage in terms of an exchange power have actually donated that much. And it's yeah, 65.
Do you have figures or just somebody's
I
it is. I mean, let's
Whatever
begin
it-
with-
not whatever it is?
No, my point is,
These are facts which are, people can bluff their way and.
I get that, but
So
what I'm saying is,
see that is it should be reliable data. You should
No, no, no.
not, because
I'm
what
not-
you are doing.
Okay,
They
even
may
if
or
it's
may
10
not be.
lakhs. Okay, let's, it's not 1 crore, maybe 10 lakhs.
I would suggest to close this topic. It's great discussions, please.
Yeah.
We have to move on.
okay.
If you can be the